Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Max with BuzzTox here, and I am back with another Game of Thrones Season 8 news video. In these videos, I tell you guys about the latest Game of Thrones news, and I try and understand and predict what it means. Now before we get started, I just want to issue a quick spoiler warning. If you don't want to know anything that's going to happen in Game of Thrones Season 8, please leave right now. And for those of you who stuck around, let's get started. So this video is specifically going to focus on the battle and siege at King's Landing. And this is going to take place in episode 5. And what's so great about this episode is that it's going to be directed by Miguel Sapochnik. And he has brought us some of the best Game of Thrones action sequences, such as Battle of the Bastards, Winds of Winter, and Hardhome. Now what is going on in King's Landing is not necessarily known. We know that there's going to be an action sequence there, and we know that it's potentially going to be laid under siege. But what we don't know is if Daenerys is going to be involved or the Night King. But all we know so far is what has been built. And what they built is a complete street of King's Landing. We didn't know where it was or what it meant. I thought that it was Flea Bottom, and I thought that we were going to see Daenerys and her men storm through King's Landing to try and get to Cersei in the Red Keep. But new information has come out that gives us a glimpse at where this is actually taking place. On the set, we have seen a building be recreated. That gives us a glimpse at where this action set piece is taking place. This church dome was seen recreated on the King's Landing set that is expected to be burned down. And what that tells us is that they're relatively close to the Red Keep. If you look at this shot of Cersei looking at the Sept of Baelor, you can find this building near the foreground, very close to where the Red Keep is. So we know at this point where this action sequence is going to take place, they're already going to be very close to the Red Keep to potentially catch and kill Cersei. And we know that they're actually going to get to the Red Keep because the Red Keep has been built as a physical set. So this tells us that the cast and crew are going to be interacting with the outer building of the Red Keep. But what's even more significant is that they're building all of these sets to set them on fire. They were doing fire testing a couple months back. So now we know for a fact that there is going to be a battle very close to the gates of the Red Keep. And we know that there's going to be fire involved. But it's unknown what fire will be involved. Will it be Daenerys' dragonfire? Will it be Cersei's wildfire? Or will it be the Night King's white dragon who does it? At that point, it is really unknown. But what we do know is that Cersei is really well equipped to deal with the dragon threat. It's been seen on set that there are multiple Scorpion Ballistas that have been improved. Because the difference between these Ballistas and the one in Season 7 is that they are grounded into the building. They are not a mobile weapon. Cersei's going to mount all of these Scorpions along the walls of King's Landing. And that makes perfect sense. So it's going to be a huge threat for Daenerys to try and attack King's Landing. Because she's going to have multiple Scorpion Ballistas fired her way. And she's already experienced that with Drogon. And it managed to hurt him quite a bit. And another tidbit we got is the Dragon Pit. We now know that the Dragon Pit is returning for Season 8. But what's really interesting is that they're taking 4 weeks to shoot at the Dragon Pit. Just for a reference, that is 4 times longer than the last season. And in the last season, we spent 25 minutes in the Dragon Pit as we watched all of our favorite characters enter negotiations. So what I personally think, if they're taking that long at the Dragon Pit, they must be developing an action sequence. Action set pieces take so much longer to make because of choreography and set design and development. It's a longer process. And in other news that feeds into this King's Landing attack is that Jaime and Brienne are expected to have a scene together in episode 4. It was reported that these two characters are going to fight against the undead as they try and retreat south. So what this news tells me is that Jaime and Brienne and all these other characters are going to have a sense of desperation. After Winterfell is destroyed, they're going to be fighting their way back south. And I think they're going to have to go through Cersei to try and be safe from the Night King. So looking at all this information, how do I think this will happen? I think for starters, Winterfell will burn to the ground, resulting in everybody retreating south as fast as possible. And I think Daenerys will be in a really big conundrum. And this is what we've seen in past seasons, is that she doesn't want to hurt civilian life by burning King's Landing to the ground. And I think that, mixed with the danger of all these Scorpion Ballistas that are firing on her dragons, she'll choose not to go straight into the Red Keep because it is too dangerous and she won't risk the life of Drogon or Rhaegal. Because to her, they are her children and she's already lost one. So I think she's going to incorporate the Dragon Pit. It is secluded, it's away from all the buildings, so I think she'll be dropping off soldiers at the Dragon Pit and defending it and using that as a base of headquarters. That's why it is taking so long to shoot there, because they have to fight their way into the Dragon Pit. And from there on out, I think people will leave from the Dragon Pit and walk through the streets of King's Landing and fight through it to get to the Red Keep, to get to Cersei before the Night King arrives at King's Landing. I think we're going to see a big action set piece. Shit will be set on fire. Potentially Cersei uses wildfire or Daenerys loses it and starts burning shit. But based on the Red Keep being designed, I think Jon, his army, Daenerys and her army will make it to the Red Keep. And I think they will finally make it to Cersei. And I think at that time the Night King will arrive. And then the true fight for the Dawn begins in King's Landing. But that is just what I think will happen. Please let me know what you think in the comments section down below. How do you think this fight or siege at King's Landing will go? But anyways, until next time, I'll see you guys later.